Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the start of a new series of guides. We all know how good it is to have brim lineups, but there is one piece of his kit that is much more important than that. That being these. Knowing when or where to smoke can play a very crucial role in your rounds and can really be the deciding factor depending on the situation as well. This series of guides is going to go through the best spots to smoke on each of the maps depending on the situation. Now, this isn't going to be your general series of smoke guides. You guys may know that I like playing Brim like a rat, so if there's any tips and tricks that I can show you guys with these smokes as well, I'll be sure to share those as well. Timestamps will be listed below as well for returning viewers or for anybody that would like to see a certain set of smokes. Before I do any of that though, I want to give you guys a general rule of thumb. This right here is a good smoke, while this right here is a bad smoke. Good smokes are typically flush with choke points depending on the situation. So for example, if you want to smoke off tree, you're going to want to smoke it like this. Now, the reason you want to smoke like that instead of smoking like this kind of smoke actually helps the enemy more than it helps you, because enemies can actually creep out of this smoke and isolate 1v1s depending on where the smoke is, and on top of that, how far out this smoke is right here. They can actually come out of the smoke at whatever angle they want, so if you're holding that smoke, they can actually throw off your crosshair placement. So, just keep that in mind. Now, let's start off with attacking A. If you want to smoke A when you're about to hit the site, if you're all coming through main, you're going to want to smoke off tree like I just showed you in the example, and then you also want to smoke heaven like this.
Smoke's down.
Now, there is a reason why we smoke heaven like this in particular, which we'll get to here in a moment. So, like I said before, this smoke here, if they come out of it, they'll be exposed to multiple angles, going back to this being a good smoke. And then heaven here, this may seem a little counterintuitive to some people, where some people might think you should smoke heaven off like this instead. Now, yes, this does fully cover heaven, but at the same time, this creates more problems than solutions here. Because anybody that's sitting up heaven can actually go wherever they want, and if they have a flash, they can just flash out of the smoke and come out and retake easier. And another thing as well, you see how big brim smokes are? Anybody that's hell can actually come into the smoke like this and hide in it and wait for your smokes to drop, and then once those smokes fade, they'll be in an unexpected position and catch your team off guard. So just be careful with that. That's why you want to smoke heaven like this instead of using two smokes on heaven. And then you can use your third smoke for however you want with post plant, whether it be re-smoking an area, or another thing you can do, if you plant default here, you can actually drop a smoke on top of the generator itself and create a one-way for the diffuser to make it more difficult for them to go for it. Just to show an example of this one-way, they won't be able to see you even if they crouch and if they're going for the bomb, whereas you will be able to see them no problem. Now, let's say you want to hit A, but you have some people going through mid as well. What you want to do is you want to smoke off bottom mid, but you actually do want to have it a little bit out in this case.
Smoke's down.
Now, yes, I am kind of telling you to do a bad smoke, but there actually is a reason for this one, which we'll get to here later. But as your team crosses through mid and gets up to the entry point to tree, you can use your other two smokes on heaven the same way as before, and then you also want to smoke off garden like this.
Smoke.
That way, if anybody is playing garden, they won't be able to catch you as you're going in unless they swing out of the smoke, which if they do that, again, they'll be exposed to multiple angles, which will make it tougher on them. Now, the reason you don't want to smoke off tree here, like you would if you were 5-manning through main, this is a good angle for your teammates to help you with if enemies are still on site as you're trying to hit. But if you end up smoking this off,
Launching smoke.
you're basically cutting that angle off for your teammates, making it much harder for them to enter the site. Because they'll end up going into multiple angles. They won't be able to isolate anything while they're in tree. So just don't smoke here if you have teammates coming in through mid. Now back to this smoke here on bottom mid. The reason that you don't want to keep it flush per se is because there's actually an angle up here that enemies can go into and actually peek over your smoke to catch you guys as you're trying to push cat and go into tree. You don't want to do that, which is why you kind of want your mid-bottom smoke to be a little bit out.
Smoke down.
Kind of like this. That way, that angle will actually be blocked off completely. Moving over to attacking B site, if you're 5-manning through B main, you only need 2 smokes here. That being market and CT spawn.
Launching smoke.
And you'll want to keep them flush here as well. And then as you go in, have somebody hit the switch to close off market, and then clear the site, and then get the spike down. Now, why smoke like I did instead of smoking market like
Launching
this?
smoke.
Yeah, it doesn't give them much room to peek out of the smoke and maintain the height, but at the same time, anybody that's playing stairs on market can easily just swing out like this and catch your team off guard. All right, let's say you want to hit B, but you want to split through mid. Here's what you want to do. Where is the first point of contact for your tiles players? That would be up in tree or cubby right there. You're going to want to smoke that off like
Smoke
this.
down.
Now, yeah, this does give them a spot to tuck right here when the smoke fades, but at the same time, if they want to come out of the smoke, they're exposed to multiple angles. You see where I'm going with this? You want your smokes to make it harder for enemies to swing out dry, which is why you don't want to smoke cubby off
Launching
like this.
smoke.
Because if they come out of the smoke, they can use this stack here to isolate some angles and get some picks off. I mean, yeah, you can wallbang this if you spot anybody that's doing that, but at the same time, it's going to be easier for them to isolate angles if they were to come out of this smoke. And then as you go up mid, you also want to smoke off top mid like this, and then you want to do this same CT smoke right here.
Smoke's down.
That way, anybody that may be playing over here will get smoked off, and then as you go in through market, anybody that's CT will get smoked off while you clear out any common angles, like, for example, stairs, lane, main, logs, whatever you need to do. And then while you're coming in, close off switch, and then get the bomb down. That's going to do it for attack. For defense, typically if you're the only smokes player on your squad, you're going to typically want to play somewhere where you'll be able to smoke off both areas whenever it's needed. There's actually a couple places you could do that. That being up here in top mid, you'll be able to smoke off both sites. Or if you play garden, you'll also be able to smoke both sites. When it comes to smoking on defense, I break these down into 2 different categories. There's going to be your passive smokes along with your aggressive smokes. Let's start off with the passive smokes here for if they are attacking A site. If they're all coming through main, you're just going to smoke off the choke point like
Launching
this.
smoke.
That way it'll make it harder for them to get on site without either using util or swinging dry. But if they do swing dry out of your smoke, look at all these angles that they have to worry about. So they'll have to use a piece of utility to clear out every single area that they can. There's a little trick you can use with this smoke as well, which you may have seen from my videos or from other Brim creators' videos. You can smoke out like this,
Smoke's down.
and then what you can even do is tuck into the back of the smoke and then just wait for them to pass by you. Nobody really clears this. And what you can even do, which you may have seen from me and other creators as well, if they come up, boom, you can knife them. And, yeah. That makes for some pretty funny reactions from your teammates and the enemies as well. You can kind of get a little aggressive with this smoke as well if you wanted to. You can come out of the smoke like this, and if anybody's creeped up, you can get your picks, isolate the angles that you need to, and then back up if you can. If you want to get super aggressive with it, or if you want to have your teammate fight main for you, what you can do, you can even drop a little one-way on top right here like this. That way, anybody that may be trying to peek this angle here won't be able to see your teammate or you that's fighting it, but you'll be able to see their legs, no problem. They'll be forced to use a piece of util to get past this if they want to try to fight main. If enemies are coming up cat, you're going to want to still use this smoke for the main players, but you also want to smoke off Cubby like this.
Smoke.
You can get a little aggressive with this smoke as well if you want to. You can come out here, isolate any angles, and then just get out. Another thing that I like doing with this smoke as well, just tuck right here. With this smoke down, people don't usually check this angle right here as they're coming into tree, which can make for a pretty nice clip if you get lucky. If they're already in tree and you don't have anybody playing garden, just smoke it off.
Launching smoke.
To try to make it easier on you guys to hold the sight down. And you can maybe even combo this with like your molly.
Molly.
Oh, I just messed that up. That was a weird one. But anyways.
Molly.
Combo it with your molly to make it even harder for them to come out. And if they're in the smoke, they'll take damage as well. You can do this with any of the passive smokes anyway as well. If enemies are already pushing onto A site, but you have a teammate that's sitting on site, or if you're sitting on site yourself, you can actually drop a smoke right on site itself, like this. And then if you have a shotgun, you can just tuck in here, and if anybody gets a little overzealous and pushes your smoke, you can pop them nice and easily. And then you can come out of it and then isolate your angles over here. But you also do want to be careful with generator as well, because if enemies push through here, you're going to be exposed to them if you come out of the smoke. So just be careful. Now let's say enemies are hitting B. There isn't really much of an aggressive smoke that you can do for this side, but what you can do for your passive smoke,
Smoke's down.
just like that. I mean, you can get a little aggressive with this if you choose to. Just come out of the smoke. If anybody's up, you can pick them off. Just isolate your angles, and then whatever you get, just get out. Another thing you can do with this smoke, just tuck right here. Enemies don't usually expect you to sit right here. They'll pay more attention to logs than anything. Now, when it comes to smoking mid, these smokes are typically dropped on suspicion more than reaction. Because let's say you drop the smoke on reaction, like if enemies get the pick mid, and then you smoke it off right away, there might be more enemies that are already pushing up mid. So smoking that off will be a little bit too late if you smoke on reaction. So if you suspect that enemies are going to be going tiles, right when the barrier drops, just smoke it off. Unless your teammates tell you not to do that. That way, if it is smoked off, your bottom mid player can hold it, and your Cubby player can hold it, while having top cat isolated. And speaking of top cat, if you suspect enemies are going to be up there, you're going to want to smoke it like this. Now let's say enemies are already through mid, planning their next move. If teammates notice that they're going through bottom mid to B, you're going to want to just smoke that off. But I would still have somebody be ready for a fight in case enemies are still trying to push through this smoke to try to hit B through mid. And then if enemies are pushing cat to try to take A, just smoke right here. And then have your garden player hold that in case they try to come in. Or if you're here, you can even tuck right here and try to play a little cat and mouse. Get a little bit of a clip going potentially if you're into that kind of thing. if they're already up mid and they're trying to come in through market, typically you are going to want to have the switch closed. But let's say the door's broken. Just smoke it off.
Launching smoke.
And that's all I have for you for Ascent. If you found this helpful, be sure to leave a like and be sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel as well. That way you don't miss out on any future content. Like I said, we will be going through the maps in alphabetical order on the current comp rotation. So the next map will be Breeze. And I will say this right now, it is one of Brim's rougher maps. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, be sure to check out these 2 videos on screen if you have not already done so. And that's going to do it for me. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.